Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the issues that matter, peel back the layers and tell it like it is. Today, we're tackling a topic that's not just a national embarrassment but a downright tragedy, the collapse of the South African National Defence Force, the SANDF. This isn't just about rusty tanks or grounded planes. It's about a betrayal of trust, a squandering of potential, and a slap in the face to every South African, especially the minority white community, who've been sidelined, scapegoated, and stripped of their contributions to this once proud institution. So, grab a seat, brace yourself for some hard truths, and let's unravel how the SANDF went from a powerhouse to a punchline. Hit that like button if you're already fuming, and let's get into it. Picture this. It's 1994. South Africa's riding the wave of its first non-racial election, and the SANDF is born. A shiny new force meant to unite the old South African Defence Force with the guerrilla fighters of Umkhonto we Sizwe and the Azanian People's Liberation Army. It's a bold experiment, a symbol of reconciliation, and for a moment, it feels like anything's possible. The SANDF inherits a legacy of discipline, expertise, and cutting-edge equipment from the SADF, largely built and maintained by white South Africans who poured their skills into making it one of Africa's most formidable militaries. Fast forward to 2025, and what do we have? A shadow of its former self. 71,235 active personnel scraping by on a measly 55.94 billion rand, approximately $3.3 billion. Budget, a pathetic 0.8% of GDP, while 62% of its facilities are crumbling, 4% are hazardous, and some are even occupied by squatters. How did we get here? Let's trace the rot. And trust me, it's infuriating. Back in the day, the SADF was a well-oiled machine, and white South Africans were its backbone. Engineers, pilots, mechanics, strategists, they brought world-class standards to a force that punched above its weight. The integration process in 1994 sounded noble, but it was a mess from the start. The SANDF absorbed thousands from MK and UPLA, many with little formal training, while Azanla flat-out refused to join, leaving a fractured foundation. By 2004, integration was complete, but at what cost? The retention of SADF personnel, mostly white, kept things afloat, but cracks were already forming. Financial constraints, mismanagement, and a creeping culture of incompetence started eroding the discipline that white officers and technicians had instilled. The SANDF was like a house built on sand, and the storms were coming. Then came the 1999 arms deal, a 30 billion rand splurge on frigates, submarines, helicopters, and fighter jets. Sounds great, right? Except it was riddled with corruption allegations, a foreshadowing of the rot that would gut the SANDF. That deal could have modernized the force, but instead it became a cash cow for connected elites, while the equipment, much of it maintained by skilled white technicians, languished due to budget cuts. By 2014, the Department of Defense's own review admitted the SANDF was in a critical state of decline. Obsolete gear, stalled renewals, and a devastated domestic defense industry, once a global player thanks to companies like Denel, were now bleeding out. Denel, a jewel in South Africa's crown, was crippled by state capture and corruption between 2011 and 2017, leaving the SANDF without the homegrown innovation it desperately needed. Now let's talk numbers that'll make your blood boil. In 2025, only one of the Navy's 4 frigates was serviceable, and all 3 Heroine-class submarines remain non-seaworthy. The Air Force? Many Gripens and Rooivalks are grounded due to maintenance shortages, with flight training and exercises crippled by budget constraints, leading experienced pilots, many of them white, to leave in droves. The Army's no better. With just 38,000 active Army personnel, roughly 2,900 of whom are deployed abroad in the DRC, draining domestic capacity. And the cherry on top? Recent budget and procurement scandals uncovered hundreds of millions in losses and froze some benefits. White South Africans, who make up just 11.4% of the SANDF's personnel as of 2019, have been disproportionately affected by this decline. Once the architects of a disciplined, effective military, they've been pushed out or demoralized by a system that prioritizes quotas over competence. The appointment of an Air Force chief, Wiseman Mbambo, who can't even fly a plane, is a glaring example of how merit's been thrown out the window. Skilled white engineers and pilots, the kind who kept Roy Volk helicopters and Gripen fighters in the air, are either retiring early or emigrating, taking their expertise with them. The result? A force that can't maintain its own equipment, relying on foreign technicians to patch up infantry weapons and refurbish vehicles. The infrastructure's a disgrace too. Though percentages have shifted slightly since 2014, the crisis remains. Squadron bases are run down, office spaces locked off for unpaid rent. Meanwhile, the government funnels 65% of the defense budget into salaries, leaving virtually nothing for equipment or maintenance. Projects like Hofista 2 Badger IFVs are indefinitely deferred and Project Hotel is stuck in limbo. Domestic defense firms, Denel, Paramount, Reutech, are scrambling, exporting 3.3 billion rands in gear annually just to stay afloat. The human cost is gut-wrenching. In 2021, 25,000 troops were deployed during the Zuma unrest, the force's largest internal operation since 1994. In January 2025, 13 South African peacekeepers were killed in the DRC during M23 clashes. That's the price of sending under-equipped, underfunded soldiers into harm's way. White soldiers, though a minority, are increasingly asked to die for a system that's failed them. The sarcasm writes itself. A defense force that can't pay its rent or keep power on, yet is expected to defend a nation, a military that needs external technicians to fix its rifles? And while diversity quotas mandate 75% black, 12.3% colored, 1.3% Indian, and 11.4% white, with only approximately 30% female, shy of the 40% target, the emphasis on optics over skills is glaring. This isn't just a military failure, it's a betrayal of every South African, especially the white minority whose contributions have been erased. The SANDF's decline mirrors the erosion of meritocracy in South Africa, where competence is sacrificed for political points. The 2012 Defense Review warned of this, but nothing changed. The 2025 defense allocation, 0.8% of GDP, is a global joke, especially when neighboring countries ramp up their budgets. So, what's the fix? It starts with accountability. Root out the corruption that's bled the SANDF dry. Prioritize merit over quotas, bringing back the expertise of white South Africans who can rebuild this force. Invest in domestic defense industry. Denel, Paramount, Milcor, before it's too late. And for heaven's sake, give the SANDF a budget that matches its mandate, not this insulting 0.8% pittance. Otherwise, as the DA warned in 2022, the alternative is a defenseless nation and a military more likely to fall to a power bill than a threat. Here's where you come in, folks. If this makes you as angry as it makes me, join the channel membership to keep this conversation going. Drop a super thanks donation to support our work. Every bit helps us dig deeper. Let the ads play for at least 30 seconds. It's a small way to fund these videos. And if you're not subscribed, hit that button, like this video, share it with everyone you know, and comment below. Tell me what you think about this mess. We need to shine a light on the SANDF's collapse and demand better, especially for white South Africans who've been pushed to the margins. Let's make some noise, because silence is what got us here. Until next time, stay fired up and let's fight for a South Africa that values competence, not chaos.